Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, August the 23rd, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and look who's back in town. It is Mr. Josh Crash Davis. Crash, how are you after a couple of days off?
I'm doing better. I think I can still feel a little bit of this sinus infection or whatever it is, but I think I'm getting better. So
You sound so much better. I mean,
yeah.
that's a good start.
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing today is it's going to be interesting to see. We decided that we would get a really good set schedule for the rest of the MLB season. So we're talking, unless we have people that aren't able to shift over, but we're looking to go 11 o'clock on days like we were when there's early games. And then we're going to go 1:30 as our regular time most days when there's the night slate being the main slate. So tonight we've got 15 games at 7:05 and later, and we thought, you know what, let's do this at 1:30 Eastern, because this way we have more up-to-date information as far as ownership and stacks, and we get everybody a little bit closer to to time when they're going to have to build lineups. So hopefully it works. And you know what? We would love to hear from you guys in chat. Are you cool with this change to 1:30 on days where we have the main slate at 7:05? We'll always post our schedule for podcasts, which again, this week there's 5 days that it's 1:30 and only 2 days that we're going early at 11 because there's early slates. And I think it's going to be conducive and help everybody down the line. But if we hear from everybody that doesn't work, then we can always switch it around. So please give us your feedback either here in YouTube. So if you're on YouTube or you're on Twitter, because we're live on both now, which is exciting for us here at Coach Talk, give us some feedback at yes, this 1:30 time works. It's excellent. We already got a couple responses here. Appreciate that. And you can do that here. If you're on YouTube, right here at the beginning, give us a quick thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, click that little alarm in the upper corner. This way, there's no messing around. You know when we go live. So if you forget, there's an early slate, a late slate, you get an alert saying DFS Coach Talk just went live, and then boom, we're right there. So if you can do that, we'd appreciate it. On Twitter, same thing. At DFS Coach Talk, give us all your feedback there. We also are really sprucing everything up here. We're so excited. We're going to do a little bit different format today. Deb and I started shifting to it a little bit yesterday. Crash and I are going to do that today. We're going to go game by game. And when we do that, we're going to incorporate, we're not eliminating anything. We're going to incorporate our pay-up pitcher, value pitcher, our fade pitcher, our BVP play, our HR call. We're going to put all that right in when we're going over the game. So that's going to be meshed in there. And then at the very end, we're still going to give our prize picks plays and our boom fantasy plays. So a little bit different format. I think it's going to work out really well. So hopefully just let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. So Crash, yesterday was a cluster, with the weather, man. Mm-hmm. What a crazy set of circumstances. We had all kinds of weather going in 3 different cities, trying to decide whether to play, fade. So our poor members, I felt so terrible. I switched the lineups. I pulled everything from the Philly game. It was just nuts. What a mess it was.
Yeah, it was definitely a mess. I mean, it was not only a mess, but it was just all the last minute nature of it. It was all at once, right before lock, literally like 2 minutes before lock, before we finalized our lineups. It was insanity.
It was, some of it did okay. Our 2 brains lineup cashed in some spots for people. So Deb and I were able to at least get some of that over the finish line. But all in all, right. It was not a fun day. And I pride myself. I've been chirping that I'm a good weather guy. Well, not so much yesterday, but no weather guy's 100%, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a weird slate. Boy from Cali, thank you for chirping in. So you know what? That's behind us. I don't want to dwell on it. You're going to have some of those days. Variance happens. Weather happens in baseball. And that's why we preach bankroll management. So when you have a slumpy day like I did yesterday, you bounce right back.
Exactly.
I love this slate tonight, by the way, Crash.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's a very nice slate. We've got a little bit of everything. You've got the Coors game. You've got a bunch of strong stacks. I mean, like I said, it's pretty much everything you could want all in the same slate.
And a bunch of good pitchers too.
Yeah.
So it makes it really fun. It's going to be a great one. So here we are, Tuesday, August 23rd. There's 16 games total. The first game we'll touch on real briefly for a second because we're not covering it all or supplying lineups for it. And then 15 games on the main slate, like I mentioned. DK is using all 15. Fanduel and Yahoo are using 14. So that's the one shift there. The only weather game today that I can see that we have to be very concerned about is Toronto at Boston. So we will be watching that closely. And I promise the members, I'll make a decision on that before it's panic fire drill time, whether we're going to play the Toronto or Boston game or not. So we're going to follow. At least it's just that one that I'm concerned about. No other games I don't think will be super affected by that. All right, let's do a quick check-in, Crash. And looks like we've got a good group of our regulars that's shifted over to 130. So thank you so much. Boy from Cali, always winning the prize, generally being first one in. That's awesome. Rodney Pollard, how are you today? Pat, let's see. Poe Deegan's, what does that say? Can you read that? Poe Deegan Stoner. I think that's what it is. Oh, Poe Deegan Stoner. I don't know.
Poe Deegan Stoner.
I'm sorry we're saying that wrong, my brother, but it's awesome to have you in there. You're new. So welcome to our fun. Hopefully you're with us every day and we'll figure out how to say that, I promise.
Yeah.
Then we have JT, regular, Absolute Power. What's up, man? Travis Duarte is in there. Are you related to the Duarte for the Indiana Pacers is the question. Chris Duarte, the rookie.
Chris Duarte, yeah.
Colin Chachoff, the man, the myth, the legend.
I don't know who that is.
You know what? I didn't we throw him out of chat one time? I don't know how he got back.
He got banned for participating in trivia.
For trying to steal prizes where he was ineligible, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You guys are fine. Okay. So Poe Deegan Stoner is, I guess that's close enough. He's accepting it. So that's awesome. Chris is my long lost cousin. I bet you got just as much game as him though, for sure. Hey, here's somebody new. Ariel, let's go. Let's get it today. Absolutely. Jermaine Cole. I love it. Colin Chachoff. I just throw him out again, so we're good. All right. Huge slate today. I am so pumped for this, especially after yesterday's debacle. I am ready to go 1,000,000%. So here's the thing. We're going to go through the games like we've always done, but we're going to put our picks in there. So it's, you're going to have to catch those as we're going and make note of them as you're putting some of these lineups together. All right, Crash, are you ready to begin this adventure?
I am.
All right, the early game that we don't care much about that goes off in less than an hour.
Well, Coach, I did post a bonus GPP cores for both FanDuel and DraftKings for this game, so I do care about it a little bit.
Okay, I take that back then. My apologies. St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs. If you're a member, jump into our Discord. Crash has some bonus lineups in there. That game starts in 50 minutes, 5-0. It's 75 beautiful degrees in Chicago, no rain whatsoever. Slight breeze blowing in from center at 8 miles an hour. 8.5 is the Vegas total. 4.95 for the Red Hot Cardinals. I know you love those Cardinals. Just kidding. Sorry. And then the Chicago Cubs, 3.55 is the implied total on that side of it. Adam Wainwright, 16.5K. because you got the showdown price, and no price I have in here for Javier Assad.
Yeah, Javier Assad is a call-up guy. He's getting his first major league. Great way to start your major league career against the hottest team in baseball. But man, yeah, that's going to be his first career start today.
Welcome to the bigs, I guess is the way that goes. But
yeah,
that's you know what? I'm adjusting my microphone. I just realized I was on the wrong. I bet you I sound a lot better now. Can you tell the difference?
I think a slight difference. Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Because I just switched. I had the wrong thing on there. Oh no, we have a bot in there that we're starting to grab these bots. How do we kick? We need to kick them out of there, Crash. Can you ban them real quick? Okay, they're out. That happens to all of us, you know, like somebody said in here, well, you know, you've made it big when you got the damn sex bot things popping in your chat.
Yeah.
Those people are, give me a break, man.
You got nothing better to do with their time than
get a life.
And screw up our podcast. But I'll bring out the band hammer, so we're good.
Yes, let's keep doing that. And I still don't like my sound, man. I'm not digging my sound. Why did it not switch? That's okay. All right. As long as you can hear me, I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, here we go then. This is where we get into the real meat of this schedule. 7:05.
Oh, Coach, sorry,
Go
Coach.
ahead.
I do need to mention BVP. Ian Happ is my BVP play of the day. 9 for 27, 333 against Adam Wainwright, 3 singles, 2 doubles, and 4 home runs. So very strong numbers. Don't really like any of the Cubs outside of him, but I do like him. So
okay, sounds good. I did see he had awesome numbers against Waino. So
yeah, that's why he made the thumbnail, because he had probably the best BVP on the slate.
No question. All right, here we go. Braves Pirates. This is the game that really ticked me off yesterday. I did not see a 2-1 game coming. Yeah. But the number's low again. It's 77 degrees, slight breeze blowing out to left at 5 miles an hour. It's just 7.5 total, 4.71 implied for the Braves, 2.79 for the Pirates. Interesting matchup here pitching. Lefty Max Fried, 9.4K for the Braves, who I stacked yesterday. I wasn't alone in that one. And JT Brubaker at 7.2K. So what's your feel on this game?
You know, I don't have a ton of interest in this game. And one of the reasons why is, if you remember, I'm trying to look this up. I think it was last week against Boston. Everybody went all in on Boston against JT Brubaker, and he's really not been that bad of a pitcher. So I didn't understand the ownership. Right. And it's the same reason that I'm not going to go so heavy on this, because I respect JT Brubaker enough to think, and it's a, you know, if not the one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks that are in the league. So to me, it's just not. There's way too many good games on this slate for me to invest too heavily in this game. Yeah, no, I get it. Right now, Atlanta's sitting as the 5th top stack, so it's not like people are diving all over them. Right.
On DraftKings. On Fanduel, you know, because yesterday they were pretty popular. They're 4th top stack there, but, you know, we've got a Coors game, so that's going to take 2 of the top spots. But, you know, that's still pretty high, you know, right now. But, again, the ownership is spread out a little bit better, but there are going to be a lot of people, I think, that are going to be going there. And as far as the way Max Fried looks, because I would think you're going to have some popularity there because it's the Pirates. Mm-hmm. You know, he's sitting at like 6th at 13.8% ownership right now on DraftKings. And then Fried is 4th on FanDuel because he's 10-2. So he's going to be a popular play today, pitching-wise, I think.
Yeah, and it looks like the Pirates are probably tied with the Athletics and the Twins for the lowest ownership on the slate as far as stacks go. So that tells you also that Fried's ownership is probably going to be pretty high.
Yeah. And I'm going to have a few Braves in my lineup. I'm not going to stack them like I did yesterday, but I don't want to give up on them. I mean, 77 degrees in Pittsburgh is warm. It's completely dry there today as opposed to on and off yesterday. It's just they're expensive, Crash. 5.6 for Acuna, Swanson 5.2, Riley 5.3, Olsen 4.7. So you don't get any breaks there if you want to try to stack. So it's almost where you want to grab one or two of those guys, maybe, and then go to a secondary cheaper guy like a William Contreras at 4.2 or an Eddie Rosario if you want to go all the way down to 2.1. I'll tell you, Vaughn Grissom is another really talented young player. If he's in the lineup today, he's only 2.3K. He's a nice guy to look at as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And even though Fried's not one of my pay up or value pitcher, I'm not going to be stacking any Pirates against him.
Yeah, I actually played Grissom last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, with your Atlanta, stack. So
do you have to remind me, Craig? Yeah, I'm with you, man. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Game 2, Mets, Yankees. Certainly the interest here. There is a slight chance of rain there, but there's no way it's going to bother anything. It's a nice 81 degrees there, 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to left. 8.5 is the Vegas total, 4.03 implied for the Mets, 4.47 for the New York Yankees. Taijuan Walker, 8.3K, takes the bump for the Mets, and he is opposed by Frankie Montas at 7.9K. I'll lead off with one of our picks that we always give during the show. Frankie Montas happens to be my fade pitcher today, Crash. I don't like Frankie Montas. I never have. I thought he was a bad pickup. I think they would have been better off sticking with Montgomery than bringing Montas aboard. He's not pitching well. He got smacked around hard by Toronto. Boston, he hit him a little bit. In the game before that, St. Louis killed him. He actually had a minus number for them. So he's not going well at all. The Mets can hit. This is such an intense series. And, Mets won game 1, Yankees won game 2. So if I'm not mistaken. And so this is an important game. And, Montas at his pricing, which is 7.9, 8.7, and $34 on Yahoo. So he's, people may say, hey, SP2, maybe I'll take him. I don't like him. He's a total fade for me.
Yeah, he's not getting much ownership from what I'm seeing. So it looks like you're not alone in all, at all with that stand. So I think that's a good stand.
Yeah, and so a lot of times one of the top pitchers in the percentages, projected percentages, will fade, but this happens to be a lower one. But just in case anybody's thinking to slide him in SP2, he is definitely my fade. So,
okay.
Sean V, how you doing, man? Great to have you join us in here. Love it. All right. What do you think about this game? Obviously a huge game on the slate, or is this going to have some ownership for you?
Maybe, when you look at Taijuan Walker, you kind of think, he's not that great, but he's 10-3 on the year. So he has a solid record, which means he's not getting blown up by any means. Now it is the Yankees. They do seem to be turning their season around a little bit right now. Ever since Aaron Boone went on that little tirade. I don't know if you saw at the press conference, but he slammed his water on the desk.
Yeah,
and
he was
ever since then, they've definitely been playing. They've won since then. All their 2 games, however many it's been. But I think they got a little momentum here. So, you could probably play maybe a 2-man stack from the Yankees, I would think, and maybe run it back with, 2 or 3 from the Mets. But this is such a huge slate that, once again, I just don't – it's not my favorite stack, and I'm probably going to stack pretty heavy on this slate, so at least in GPPs.
I want to push back on Taijuan Walker with you because he's pitching, I think, very poorly. 2 of his last 3 starts, he got smashed. And in the teams he's pitched for, since he's come over and before he was traded, in the last 8 times that he's pitched, they've won 1 game. Yeah. So he's not getting it done. And I just don't see, I do not see why he would be a guy that I'd want anywhere. In fact, to the point of where I'm going to do a little bit of stacking against him. I think
Okay.
that, I think the Mets are really, I think this is going to be an intense game, and I think you need some exposure to it. And, I'm going to look at possibly going mid. I don't know, Judge at 6K. It's just always so hard. Benintendi finally had a big game. I've been playing that stinking guy so much.
Yeah, he's starting to turn it around a little bit. He definitely looks better, more comfortable at the plate.
Yeah.
I do like Judge a little bit. I mean, yeah, he's crazy expensive, and no kidding, it's Aaron Judge. But I think that, he hit that home run last night. He might be getting back on his home run binge like he was before. So we'll have to see what happens. But he's got good numbers against Walker, 3 for 9 with 3 home runs. He was almost my home run call, but yeah, Judge would definitely, obviously, be the favorite here.
Well, Judge is on the bubble for me. I have to see if I can fit him salary-wise. But I like Benintendi. I like Rizzo. I like LeMahieu. Donaldson's pretty cheap at 4-1. Gleyber Torres at 4. And I'll tell you what, that Oswaldo Cabrera kid can play.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's got an awesome stick, but did you see some of his defensive plays?
Yeah, he's got some really nice defensive skills. So he's not projected to be in their lineup, though. I don't know why.
I've got him projected in one and not in the other. So we'll see. Let's see how that goes. Because if he does make it in, 2K is a great part of a stack to make it work.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see how that flies. But anyway, I wanted to spend some time on that one because I will probably have a good 3 Yankees in my lineup today. I think they start busting out. I agree with you. I think, slam the water bottle and all that shenanigans is going to pay off.
Yeah.
Woke them up a little bit.
Right.
All right, my friend, let's go to another 7:05 game. This one should be very interesting, too. 2 teams fighting for that last playoff spot. It's the Chicago White Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. 82 degrees, nice night in Baltimore. Slight wind left to right, 6 miles an hour. Vegas has this as at a low 7.5. 4 implied for Chicago, 3.5 for the O's. Dylan Cease at 10K. Versus Austin Voth at 6.3. What do you think?
I see Dylan Cease getting a lot of ownership, but I don't really like him.
Okay.
I respect this Baltimore lineup too much. He's got about 15% projected ownership on DraftKings right now.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a little high. There's other better options in my opinion on this slate. I like, I'll get into them later who I like, but
yeah,
there's just different options that I like, more than him at his price. He's 10,000 on DraftKings and he is 10.3 on Fanduel. So he's up there in the double digits.
He's expensive and he's 5th and 6th in the ownership, early ownership here on DK and Fanduel. So he is getting a lot of interest. And Baltimore is a friendly pitching park without question, but I don't know. There's just like on a different slate, I'd really like him probably, but there's just so many good options here pitching wise. It makes it tough. Plus, Baltimore's hitting the ball. They've been hot and they're playing with a lot of emotion and making a run, really trying to make the playoffs. So I'm with you. I mean, I'm not going to stack against Cease by any stretch, but he's not making any of my lineups, even though he's fairly popular right now.
Yeah, if he wasn't in the upper half of the ownership projections, I would probably go higher on him. But
yeah, he's in the upper third. So yeah. I do like a few of the Chicago bats, though. I don't think Voth is that good.
No, I don't think so either.
And I know it's hard to trust the White Sox, because they will sting you. But Pollock, Robert Jimenez, and Abreu at the top. 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 9, and 4K. So they're very reasonable price wise. Luis Roberts a little pricey, but the rest of the guys are very affordable. So
yeah,
I think that I think that's something that you have to look at here.
Yeah, I could definitely see some of the Chicago bats.
Just a one-off, here and there.
Yeah, I think their ownership's going to be lower, it looks like. So, yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, neither team getting big stack ability here. And I'm not saying stack them, but I mean, even if you're not playing Cease, I don't like ever playing one of my hitters against a pitcher, but since I'm not playing Cease, I mean, you can always, a Mountcastle at 4-1. This Kyle Stowers kid, the one they just called up.
Yeah.
He's 2K dead min, and he's a lefty against Cease. Maybe he's your one-off that makes your Judge fit in your lineup or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need those kind of guys to make a guy like a Judge fit in. So that makes a lot of sense.
No doubt. All right, we head to the next one. Cincinnati Reds at the Philadelphia Phillies. That's the game that caused me a lot of headaches yesterday. And there is a slight chance of rain at the beginning of that game, but I'm not even going to mention it because it's going to play and it's fine. 83 warm degrees in Philly. That gets you some interest. Slight breeze blowing left to right. Total is 8 in Vegas, so not bad. 3.22 implied for the Reds, 4.78. Fairly aggressive number for the Phillies. Two lefties battling here. The youngster Nick Lodolo at 9K and Ranger Suarez, man, he's pitched well for me a few times. He was part of one of my takedown nights, but he's at 9.2K. So I guess my first question is, does Suarez interest you against this Reds team that's pretty hollow now, especially with Votto out for the season? They are not looking like a competitive team.
Yeah, especially on Fanduel, because on DraftKings it looks like people are probably going to be using him as the SP2 a little bit. He's got 11.6% projected ownership. On Fanduel, it's only 5.2.
Right.
So I like him on Fanduel. He is my value pitcher of the day.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he is. And he's 9,200 on both sites. He pitched against Cincinnati last week in his last start.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. He and Lodolo both had 7 innings pitched, no runs allowed, struck out 8 for 49 fantasy points. Exact same numbers.
Wow.
I bet you that hasn't happened more than, I don't know, a handful of times this year.
Right.
Two pitchers facing each other would have the exact same numbers, but that's what happened. And he was pitching in Cincinnati last week when he put up those numbers. So this is a little bit more of a pitcher-friendly park. I mean, Cincinnati is probably the most hitter-friendly park in baseball outside of Coors. So I would definitely like some shares of Ranger Suarez tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad play at all. Like you said, the price is right there. And since he is a real shell of itself there, as far as team stacks go, looks like Philly's getting decent respect, right around 5% ownership against Lodolo. So that's a direction that you could go. And on DK, where are they sitting? They're up there as well. No, I mean 4%, so not much. But Philly
They're about 8. They're about 8 on FanDuel, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. I looked at that incorrectly. 8. So, I mean, that could be a sneaky way. Grab, 3 Phillies tonight and get a couple of home runs in there. Who do you like in that Phillies lineup if you did go that route?
If I went that lineup, I would probably go with Alec Bohm. He's really good against lefties. Same thing with Matt Vierling. Some of the lesser known guys, I would possibly go with Rhys Hoskins. But those lower owned guys, kind of like we were talking about before with Stowers, to try and make our lineups work and the value of the price on their salary, I think that would all work together with it's probably going to be one of the more expensive pitchers, I'm thinking, for our cash lineups the way it looks right now. So
I think Bohm's going to get a decent amount of ownership. I mean, he double donged for me the other day, and he's in that 3-hole. I don't think he's going to move out of that 3-hole for the next 6 years. I mean, I think they found their number 3 hitter. They'll get Harper back, so that'll move things around a little bit. But at 4.2K, I think he's a really nice play tonight. He was almost my BVP play, just for the record.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I do like him. All right, you ready to move on to the weather game?
Sure, yeah.
I start breaking into a cold sweat when I start talking about the weather after yesterday. But anyway, Blue Jays and Red Sox. This is the game where it's concerning. 46% chance of rain at first pitch. It does lessen as the game goes on. So we'll follow this very closely. It could be a late start situation, but I don't think it's going to hurt anybody because it's Ross Stripling and Josh Winkowski. So if you're playing those pitchers, then you are, may need to pick up another hobby because those are not two targets that I'd look at today.
Yeah.
But, so we'll see how that one rolls. But it's supposed to be 74 degrees. Like I said, not a bunch of wind, but a good chance of some rain. 9.5. So Vegas sees this game being a lot of runs. Over a 5 implied for Toronto at 5.06. Triple fours for Boston. 444 is their implied total. And as I mentioned, Ross Stripling, 7.4K. Josh Winkowski, 7.2K. So if this game does go as we expect it to, are these some hitting targets for you?
Yeah, on the Toronto side.
Okay.
I would like some of Toronto. Now let me look and see what kind of
see what the ownership is, because I'll tell you right now, I know there's some really expensive guys on both sides here. I mean, Devers is a fortune, 6K. Vlad's 5.8. I don't know if I could go with the big numbered guys there, but man, there's some really good bargains other than that. I'm going to, as you look up those numbers, and you can share the numbers in a second, I'm going to give you my BVP play of the day. And it's going to be Xander Bogaerts.
Okay.
I really like Xander. He's done well against Stripling in the past. And again, we always go, even small sample sizes make a difference to us here. We believe in him. So he's a smooth 6 for 13, 2 extra base hits against Stripling. He's homered. A nice, cool 1231 OPS, 769 slugging, 462 OBP and average. So, Boston has played a little bit better in a few stretches. And I really like this matchup if the weather holds with Bogaerts against Stripling.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like they're getting more ownership on Fanduel than DraftKings. And so, yeah, I would like them a little bit more for tournaments on DraftKings. And, they might be almost a borderline cash play on FanDuel. I mean, they're pretty high up there in their ownership. They're right up there with the Rockies in ownership. So,
yeah. And I like this.
The Rangers is who I meant, but
yeah, because the Rangers in Coors, but
right.
I definitely want exposure here. I doubt I'll pay up for the top guys, but Bogaerts at 4.8, JD Martinez at 4.3, Verdugo at 3.5. He's been really hitting well recently. And then I'd love to be able to afford to get up to Springer. I mean, Winkowski's not good, so
right.
Kirk as a catcher, because catchers are so hard to get a good catcher in there is a good play. So I'll have exposure, no probably big stacks. And then, but again, we're going to follow the weather there, because the last thing you want to do is have that stress of a big delay and whether the game's going to play or not. So yeah, I'm not getting into that mess again today.
Right. Boston looks like they're going to be very low owned.
Right.
So getting both sides of that game makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Their projected leverage is negative, but it's not like a huge negative number anyway. So I think that's going to be a smart play in GPPs.
This will be a Mike S leverage special. That's $5 for Mike S. His pot continues to grow.
Yeah.
But I think our man Mike S will be on this game a little bit too, because it's going to go under the radar. And a lot of people were like me yesterday. It was a nightmare with the weather, and people are going to be like, screw that. I don't want anything to do with this headache. So you're going to get lower ownership on guys that normally would be owned a little bit more. So certainly something to keep a close eye on. Real quick, I want to say hello to Andros Benjamin, who just joined. Great to have you in here. And great to have you join us. So on every pitcher? No, I'm not on every pitcher. Is that what the question is? No, I don't like many of these pitchers today. I just have a small handful that I'm going to utilize. But all right, we go on to the next one. 7-10. We've got the San Francisco Giants and the Detroit Tigers. It is 79 degrees in Detroit, slight breeze blowing in from right field at 6 miles an hour. Vegas has this good weather game at a low 7.5 total, 4.53 for the Giants, and an infinitesimal small number of 2.97 for the Detroit Tigers. Carlos Rodon, 11K flat. Drew Hutchison, half that at 5.5. So you get double the price on Rodon than you do Hutchison, but I think it's well deserved. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. I think let me see. I think people are probably going to go to Rodon a little bit, but the last time he faced Detroit, which was in San Francisco, wasn't that great. So I kind of was looking at him as somebody that I probably won't have in my lineups.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I am. So
all right, guess what? Rodon's my pay-up pitcher of the day.
Okay.
I love him in this matchup. Detroit sucks, man. They can't hit. Detroit can't hit. And here's the thing. Everybody always talks about how horrible they are against righties, and they are. They're the worst hitting team against right-handers in the league. But they can't hit lefties either.
Yeah.
Still, overall in pitching, Detroit is 5th highest in strikeouts, 6th. They just dropped to 6th. And they're only hitting 226 as a team, period, against all pitchers. Rodon, Chicago's in a pennant race. They're trying to get in, and they've got a shot. And Rodon's he had one game against Oakland that wasn't that great. He only had 3 strikeouts, only gave up 1 earned. But other than that, listen to the strikeouts: 11, 7, 10, 10, 7, 7, 12, 7. I mean, that's a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah.
And this is, as we know, strikeouts are God when it comes to scoring fantasy points. And then look at these numbers, Crash: 52, 43, 28 against Oakland, which is still fine. They just didn't need him. 61 against the Cubs. He had a 70 earlier against San Diego. And, the game that you referred to against Detroit, 37 points doesn't seem all that impressive, but that's only because he only struck out 4 that day. He went 6 full innings, only gave up 1 earned run. And, I think he's a quality pitcher that's going to get lost in the shuffle today. And he is a little expensive, 11,000 on DraftKings, 10.8 on Fanduel, and 56 on Yahoo. So, it's not a giveaway. And I actually like that he's that price there, because I think it will continue to push down his ownership for a guy that I think may be the best and highest scoring pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, he's pretty high projected ownership, though.
I know.
He's like 4th highest on DraftKings.
Yeah, but it's not a stupid number,
Right.
That's the thing. I mean, if you look at him, let's look at him on.
He's 27.6% on DraftKings. That's pretty high to me.
So. That is, but it's a 2-pitcher site, so it happens there. And that's not the greatest number, but I'd like to see that like a 20 or less. But I do think that I just think he's in such a solid spot here. I see him on. Is this DK or FanDuel? Where is he? 19.8%. This is the part we're bringing in all these numbers and projections. That's the only part I haven't gotten super comfortable with going over back and forth. But I have him at 19.8%.
That is his top 2% projection.
Oh, okay.
His ownership is 27.6.
I see that. Okay.
Yeah, if it was 19.8, that would definitely.
That's where I want him at.
30.
So, Colin, if you're listening, when you send us these prior, please don't send us this top thing, because it just jacks me up. Just give us the ownership percentages so I can just look straight at that. But I still like him. I like him even at that number. And I think it might come down a little bit. I really don't think he's going to be ridiculously owned. And I do think he's the best pitcher on the slate. So we'll see. You ready for the next game?
Yeah, I was reading some of the comments. They were saying something you said something about Rodon in Chicago. And and they were wondering what you meant by that because he's with San Francisco.
No, I said against Chicago, in Chicago.
Oh,
So,
against Chicago.
So here it is. Carlos Rodon on July 31st pitched against the Chicago Cubs. 7 innings, two hits, no earned, 10 strikeouts. So, part of that streak he's been on of pitching, 52 against Arizona, 43 against Pittsburgh, 28 against Oakland, 61 against the Cubs. So I'm just saying who he pitched against. I know I went through those too fast when I was talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says hell no on 11 Ks for Rodon. Why is Rodon getting hammered for me? 0 chance Rodon is on the optimal, Sean V. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Sean V's fired up here. We may have to challenge that one, that he may be on the optimal. I'm telling you right now. Let's keep that in mind. I think he's going to have a good one. All right, where are we at? Let's go back to the next game. I think we're ready for that. Yeah. It is 7-10 Angels at the Rays, and it's 7 total in the Dome in Tampa. 3 even for the Angels, 4 implied for Tampa. Jose Suarez, the lefty, 6.6K against the veteran Corey Kluber, 7.7K. And this might be a game that gets lost in the shuffle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Zachary, how are you, man? Sean V, what's good? Sean V, I'm fired up for Sean V today. I like the fact. I love that we have people in here.
You've been challenged, Coach.
Huh?
You've been challenged.
Osimo is the top notch above all. Okay, you're cool with it, man. Yes, you know what? I know him. He's a brilliant guy. They're great. But you know what? Why not get more information, guys? We never smash anybody else. We give people props all the time. Gundacker is one of my best buddies. I say, listen to everybody, get all the information you can. Everybody has good stuff to share. You're going to find a difference, though. If you listen to us long term, the Sean V's and those guys, you know what? Give it a listen. See if it works for you. We hand build a lot. We do, yeah. Sundacker, Gundacker, Scumduck, the Dacker. He says sometimes when he has a bad pick, but I love him, man. He's a good kid. But anyway, we're going to give you a little bit different perspective on it. We're going to look at all the numbers, crunch everything. We use optimals. We do everything like everybody else does. But we want to hand build some single entry and give some of our members a shot that aren't playing 150 max entries. So I love that you guys are in here. Keep up the chatter. And the more information, the more questions, the more feedback, the better. We love it. Okay. So where are we going, Crash?
We are going to LA and Tampa.
Yes. So we've got Suarez versus Kluber. And I believe this game goes under the radar a little bit. I know Trout's back, and guess what? Trout's my home run call today, Crash.
Okay.
I know that he's 5.7K. Since he came back from injury, he hasn't exactly come out red hot, that's for sure.
Right.
But it's been a handful of games now. I think he's ready to get after it and get it done. He's, his BVP here is really good. As it is against most people, but he's faced Kluber 18 times, only 4 hits, but he's hit 2 home runs. He's knocked in 4 runs against them. So he's got a 919 OPS, 556 slugging, and it's Mike Trapp. And It's one of those, Kluber, now that he's older and coming back from injury, as I've mentioned on other pods, he's not the same pitcher he was, not the power pitcher. He's going to nibble. He's still a decent, respectable pitcher,
right.
But it's the kind of guy I think Trapp can really sit on the pitch that he's looking for and drive one. So Mike Trapp, who I'm definitely going to have as a one-off in some of my lineups today, is the one guy from the Angels that I like. I do agree with Boyd from Cali, though. And I'll tell you this. Kluber's in a good spot. The Angels are not good. They strike out a ton, and it's just not their year. But remember, they were without Trapp for a long period of time. So I get Kluber as an SP2, some sense, but I really do like Trout here. I think it's low owned Mike Trout too, is what it's all about. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think people have been trying to play him since he came back from his injury, and they've been getting burned by him. So you'll probably get him at low ownership. So if he hits a home run, that's going to go a long way in your tournament play.
I agree with you completely. And I don't blame you, boy from Cali, if he's your SP2. I think it makes sense. I agree with you, Sean V. If you missed the very beginning, I think Walker gets smoked today. No doubt in my mind. I'm going to be stacking against him. And Big Bino, welcome to the fray. And I'm with you, brother. I'm glad you taken a little bit of everybody. I recommend that. Get all the different opinions. There's, knowledge is power. The more information you get, the better. No question about it. All right. Thank you, Andres Benjamin. You're the best. Let's look at the next one as we keep rolling here. We're getting there little by little. I bet you this game has a lot of interest for you. How about the 8:05 game of the Cardinals and the Cubs? Is that something that gets your interest, Crash?
Yeah, for a little while until the Brewers start playing.
It's, by the way, 74 degrees in Chicago, slight breeze blowing in 6 miles an hour. 9's the total in this one.
Yeah.
475 implied for the Cardinals, 425 for the Cubs. Jake Woodford, 11.1K, and on Adrian Sampson, 15.3K. That's the showdown pricing on those guys, because that's part of that doubleheader shenanigans.
It looks like Woodford will be the opener, and then Liberatore is going to be the primary reliever. So
correct.
They're going to be using more of a bullpen approach tonight.
Yeah. So if you're going to touch, if you're going to play that one, or if I think it's not on all the slates anyway. So, but that's completely up to you. So, is that any interest in that game for you?
Yeah, I'll go out on a limb here and say the Cubs win that game.
Oh,
I'll go with Contreras, Wisdom.
That's a Brewers homer call.
We'll see. I mean, the Cubs have been playing really well. I know they're the Cubs. Their record sucks, whatever. But, I mean, they've won 6 of their last 7.
Yeah.
Prior to last night, they had their 6-game winning streak snapped. But, I mean, they only lost 1-0. They're just playing really well right now. So, I think they'll win at least 1 or 2 of these. They have a 5-game set with the Cardinals. So, I think they'll win 1 or 2 of them.
Well, that's going to be big stuff right there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Houston. This game, of course, the big fella himself, Verlander. We'll see what he's going to do tonight. But it's an 8-10 game in the little bandbox dome there in Houston. But maybe the roof starts opening there a little bit. We'll check that for you and post it in Discord and on Twitter as well. If it's going to be open, it's been hot there, so they've been playing most of those games with the roof closed. Only a 7.5 total, 2.58 implied for the Twins, 4.92, big number for the Astros. Aaron Sanchez, 5.9K on the hill for the Twins against the man, the myth, the legend, similar to you, Crash, Justin Verlander at 10.5K. So $500 cheaper than Rodon. I'm taking all my heat for taking Rodon over him today. Are you on the Verlander bandwagon?
I'm not against him, but he's not my top pay pitcher. I do like the Astros as a stack, but it looks like everyone does. So that makes me, a little less bullish on them.
Yeah.
Let me check and see if I'm right on the ownership there. I'm thinking they're, well, no, they're only 5.3 on DraftKings. So I like that.
Yeah.
5.2 on Fanduel. So yeah, the Astros will be one of my top stacks.
Very good. And Verlander, you think he's going to get the ownership that it's initially showing here? Because right now, 10.7 is all that he is, which is really surprising to me.
10.7?
Yeah, that's what I see.
He's been solid. He's Verlander, but he hasn't had a lot of those huge ceiling games, so that's probably keeping him down a little bit. And plus, a lot of people are looking at the Rangers in that Coors game, so they're probably going to have to save some salary.
Right.
So probably another reason why he's not getting as high ownership as we would normally see for him.
Yeah, on let's see, on DK, where you have to have the two pitchers, it's a different story. 24.6. So big difference with the ownership on DraftKings versus Fanduel. So it might be something you have to shift the way you're going to look at this one. But I don't know. I obviously I always respect Verlander. I don't think Minnesota is really that good. They're fighting, trying to get a playoff spot themselves, but they're just Buxton was pulled from the game yesterday. So what is his status? Do we know if he's playing? Because that's important as well.
Sorry, I was reading the comments. What was that?
Do you know if Buxton's going to be in?
It doesn't look like it. Yeah, because he left the game last night. You're right. Yeah. That's a big blow for them.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll see. If he's in, it does make a huge difference. There's no question about it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stack the Twins against Verlander, but
no.
A couple one-offs or something, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does give up a few home run balls, and they do have some home run hitters on that squad that can square him up. But if Buxton is out of the lineup, it does move Verlander up a notch for me. So, I want to consider that a little bit more, with he and Rodon. So I'm going to be watching that all the way to the end. But I think Buxton makes that much of a difference in that lineup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. I do.
Okay, let's jump over to another 8-10 game. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks at the Kansas City Royals. It is 83 degrees in KC. Beautiful, a warm night there. Slight breeze blowing in from right at 4 miles an hour. Vegas has this line set at 9 for the total. 4.68 implied for the Diamondbacks. 4.32 for the Royals. Zach Davies, 6.5K versus Jonathan Heasley, 5.7K. So 2 cheap pitchers. I don't know. This game is a strange one to me. I think it'll totally get overlooked. But they're good hitters here.
They're getting a little bit of ownership, though. I was a little surprised. Kansas City's at 9.7 and 9.1. 9.7 on FanDuel, 9.1 on DraftKings. So
yeah,
amount of ownership there. Salvador Perez, might as well get to that. He's my home run call. 3 for 6. Okay. It's a small sample size, I know that, but 3 for 6, 3 home runs against Davies. Davies doesn't usually give up a lot of home runs, but obviously Perez has had success against him at home. I'm going to go with Perez as my home run call.
I like it. And I think the reason Kansas City is getting ownership is because they're so damn cheap. Yeah. I mean, if you look at, Dozier, 2.6, Massey, who I've used, and he's been great, 2.1, Michael Taylor's 2K flat, so they've got all these 2K players. If you're looking to stack cores or you want to go with 2, I mean, there's some people that could go up and get Verlander and a Rodon or something of that nature. So there's so many different strategy paths that you can take today. And one of those is using some of these cheap Kansas City bats. I agree with you.
Yep.
And you know what? Neither one of these pitchers I respect, though. I wouldn't mind a one-off from the Arizona side either. The only problem is they're overpriced. You look at Marte, Walker, and Varsho. If they're 3, 4, 5, they're all just too expensive to me on a slate like this. And Rojas leading off 5.2K. That's expensive.
That is very expensive.
I'm as much as I think they may hit. I don't want to spend up for the D-backs. I'd rather go with the cheaper Royals, and it's showing that in the ownership as well.
They're the favorite. That's a little surprising to me. I mean, I know they have a little bit better record than Kansas City, but I think Kansas City's a better team right now.
You know what? That's one of my plays for our Boom Fantasy. I can't believe you picked that out of there because I'll take a Royals plus 108. I'll talk about that when we give our Boom Fantasy picks. I think they're
plus 125 here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at plus 108 right now, but we'll see. I mean, that's going to shift around. But the bottom line is, I just think I think KC has granted, they have all these cheap guys, but they have
Right.
some young, fired up hitters. Melendez, Witt, those guys are super players down the road for this Royals team, both of them. All right, let's double check. Anything else going in here? Why are the Royals ownership?
I think because I think you pointed that out, Coach. I think you're right.
Money.
The price,
salary, because you have to find people. I mean, you got to either pay up in pitching, go to Coors, do something where you're going to have to save money somewhere. But I'm with you. It could be dangerous too. It could be a trap. I mean, you got to be very careful. I wouldn't suggest any massive stacks there by any
right. Well, like I said, Zach Davies is usually good at eliminating home runs. He gets a lot of ground balls, so that will keep your scores down if you have a Kansas City stack, most likely.
Except for Salvador Perez, right?
Except for Perez, he's going to go deep. Yep.
And here's the stinking Coors game that always jacks everything up, that creates all these shifts. And of course, it is today. There's a lot of popularity in the ownership, and very well it should be. It's the Rangers at the Rockies at 8:40, 83 degrees. So warm in Colorado again. Breeze blowing out to left, just 5 miles an hour, nothing much. Nothing stupid. It's 10.5 total. That's not that bad. I mean, reasonable. And both sides split right down the middle. 5.25 implied for both squads. Dane Dunning at 6.9K for the Rangers, and Herman Marquez 6.8K for the Rockies. So the big question here, in your scheme of things, are you going to play fade or just grab a few one-offs here and try to have some exposure to this game? What's your strategy today on Coors?
It's going to be difficult for me to get Houston in with one of these teams. You're talking about Houston's got some pretty expensive bats with Alvarez and Tucker and Altuve, Bregman. I mean, so maybe a one-off is what I'm thinking. Possibly I can get one or two guys in from this game, but probably not a whole lot of this game.
Yeah, it's
going to be so high that I'm not diving into this one.
Well, I'm not going to pay up for two pitchers today. I've got a few guys I'm looking at SP2 that are going to save me a little. Yeah. I have a few spots where I'm going to go one off for some cheaper guys. So I am going to have exposure in this Coors game today.
Okay.
I think that, both of these pitchers are nothing to write home about by any stretch. I mean, they both can give up the long ball, and they both had stretches where they have not been very consistent, and both trending, I think, in the wrong direction, in my opinion. So you look at some of these bats at the top of that Rangers lineup: 4.9 for Simeon, who's had a terrible year. Corey Seager at 5.8, very expensive. So it's a big commitment there. But then after that, it gets very affordable. If you have Nate Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Heim, the catcher, might be a solid play at 4K flat. And then a couple of the guys in the bottom of that order, Cole Calhoun's all the way down to the min 2K.
Oh, wow. For a Coors play? Is that on DraftKings you're talking about?
On DraftKings.
Wow, that's very rare. Very rare.
Nothing. Yeah.
Min price. Yeah.
It's craziness. He used to be really expensive at one point, but that's how far he's fallen. Wow. Yeah. So there's a lot of bats you can get on that side, and it's showing they're popular. What's the ownership in Coors right now while I'm going over my Rockies? You could pull that up.
On DraftKings or Fanduel?
Both.
Okay, so on DraftKings we're looking at almost 15% for Texas, so they're definitely the higher owned of the two teams. Only 6.7 for Colorado on DraftKings. Fanduel it's 8.5. 8.5 for Texas, and interestingly enough, 8.6 for Colorado.
Interesting.
So basically the same projected ownership for both teams on Fanduel.
And to have both teams in single digits is unusual in Coors.
Yeah.
But neither one of these teams is respected, but neither pitcher is that great. So I think maybe Coors goes a little under-owned than it normally does, as it's looking right now. But that could change during the day. I will say the Colorado pricing, they were so cheap for so long but that has reset and adjusted now because, Iglesias I still like at 4-4. I play him all the time. Blackman at 4-8, Rogers 5-1, Grishik at 4-5, McMahon 4-6. So it's not like there's any giveaway pricing on any of those guys. So that's where if you're going to commit, I'm going to try to go maybe 2v2 here. Just pull a couple of guys from each side that I think, can make it work and will fit in salary wise. But I definitely am going to have exposure to the Coors game today.
Okay.
All right. We have 4 games left, and this will be the late night after hours slate. And we'll hopefully be able to jump in there and give some of those out as a bonus to our members, because you don't rarely get a bunch of good games here late. So there's 2 9:40 games and 2 10:10 games. Real quickly, before we get into those, though, I really appreciate everybody being in here in chat. This is awesome. All these days that we have these late main slates at 7:05, we'll be in here 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'd love to have you join us every day. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, give us a quick subscribe, a little comment. That would be fantastic, and hit the alert button. So if you're confused on what time these live pods are going to go, we're doing them 7 days a week. You'll get an alert that'll let you know that we're up and going. We're also going live on Twitter now every day as well. We're at DFS Coach Talk. And as you can see below us there, I'm at Joe Sarvati. Crash is at JP Davis 1982. DM us, send us questions, info. If you're a former member of Coach Talk and you want to come in for 3 days for free, we've been doing this throughout this entire week. It'll end Sunday. Just send us a DM right there at DFS Coach Talk. We'll get you in for a 3-day freebie with us here to have you try us out. So we would love to have you. You can join. Our NFL package is up now. And here's the bonus, Crash, that people don't realize. They think, okay, if I buy the NFL package like you do at other places, you get it from the start of the NFL to the end of the NFL. Well, guess what? If you buy our NFL package now, you get it today. You get all of this time before the NFL starts, which is coming up pretty quick anyway, but you get all that for free. And then you get from the beginning of the NFL season all the way through January 13th, the end of the NFL regular season. And it's everything that we've got. You get all the other sports along with the NFL. So we'd love to have you join us for that. It's a 2-payment, non-painful thing that you can break in 2 payments. And then you're all set for all of our sports, which you get everything. Our NBA, which is, of course, my favorite, and all of our other sports that we have going on now. So definitely come in and join us. We really appreciate that. If you happen to be on the audio podcast listening, definitely take a second, hit the 5-star or top whatever you can rate us, and give us a quick comment. If you rate us and give us a comment, Colin goes in there at the end of every month, which we somehow only have a week left in this month, Crash. How is that possible? But
doesn't seem possible.
No. So if you want to win a free month, you'll get September for free in that drawing. We'll do that at the end with the randomizer of each month. So give us a comment there on the audio podcast as well. Okay. The first of the after hours night slate, 9:40 game, is the Marlins and Athletics. It's a total of only 7. It is actually comfortable in Oakland tonight, 69 degrees, usually a little cooler there. There in San Francisco, always gets cooler, but comfortable, 69, a little breeze blowing out to left center at 6 miles an hour. That total, like I said, only 7, 3.76 implied for the Marlins, 3.24 for the Oakland A's. Pablo Lopez, 8.1K, takes the hill for the Marlins, and his pitching opponent is Zach Logue, the lefty, at 5.4K. So talk about 2 teams that don't have much interest. Is there anything that gets your fancy in this game?
No, I'm not interested in this game. I'll just put it blunt. I'm not interested in this game.
Yeah. Me neither. I mean, oh no, we have another the sex bots in there. Knock that out of there.
I'm gonna kick somebody out here.
Stupid doggone things, man. Drive me nuts. I mean, it's hard to like much here. I mean, what about Pablo Lopez as a value pitcher, though?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, Oakland hasn't been very good. I think they've been the worst team in baseball at home. So as far as scoring,
I mean, it might not be the worst play. I mean, he hasn't been great though. The last time I played him, he got murdered. So
right.
He's not on my list, but he is cheap. So, but I'm with you. I just have no interest. These teams are not good, and they're going nowhere fast. So let's move on. The other 9:40 game is the Cleveland Guardians at the San Diego Padres. Perfect night for baseball, as always, in San Diego. 73, slight breeze, 5 miles an hour, blowing out to right center. 7.5 is your total. 3.46 implied for the Guardians. 4.04 for the Padres. Aaron Savali, 7K for the Guardians. Mike Clevinger, 8.6K. A little pricey there for Clevinger, in my opinion. Hill for the Padres. So what are we thinking here on this game? Anybody jump out to you?
So this is a revenge game for Clevinger, huh?
Yes, it is.
His own team.
That's right.
Yeah, not a whole lot I like here. I respect Clevinger enough that I don't want to go to Cleveland and San Diego. They're just been very disappointing ever since the trade. Everybody thought that trade was going to put them to World Series contender status, and it may eventually, but at this point, they're like a above average playoff team right now, if that. So
the only guy that's hit during this is Machado. I mean, Soto's been very average. Brandon Drury's been a disaster, really.
Yeah.
Josh Bell's not hitting. I don't know. They sure spent the money, but maybe it's just chemistry. Maybe it'll take some time, but yeah.
And Josh Hader's really looking like, man, he looks like the Brewers won that trade, even though they didn't get that much for him. I mean, he's just really struggling. So
yeah, bad juju out there in San Diego. I don't know what the deal is, but
it's interesting.
I mean, you can go one-off in different spots. I love Jose Ramirez always, but 5.6K is a decent amount to bite off there. And Machado's all the way to 6.2. So, it's hard to commit to those dollars. Do we have any ownership coming in on these teams? If you can look at that real quickly.
Yeah,
there are some guys at the bottom of that Guardians lineup or middle to bottom that are cheap. The Oscar Gonzalez, this Will Benson, if he's in the lineup, the youngster. They give a few guys that I have a little bit of interest in if I'm trying to make, the Coors stack work as well.
They're both around 1% or below. So they're very low projected ownership.
Yeah, this game is going to go big time under the radar. And it makes sense that it does because you've got some expensive guys and some just average pitching. Savali and Clevinger, they can bring it at times, and they can also get hit. So certainly a game that won't get much attention.
Yep.
All right, how about we go to the game that I know you're excited for? The Milwaukee Brewers, they get to face a little old team called the LA Dodgers in LA. 76 degrees, wind blowing out to center, 10 miles an hour. 7 is the total. 3.19 implied for the Brewers. 3.81 for the Dodgers. Corbin Burns, 10.6K, your buddy. And he lost. I can't call him gopher ball anymore because he's been pitching so great again. Tony Gonsolin, 9.7K for the Dodgers. What do you think in this one?
It's got 2 of my top plays. So
here we go.
My top pay-up pitcher is not Corbin Burns. My fade is Corbin Burns.
Oh, my God.
My top pay-up is Tony Gonsolin.
Get me on the phone again. Milwaukee Brewers fan club, you need to kick this guy immediately.
Yeah, I love
you're fading the Brewers pitcher, and your favorite pitcher is the Dodgers pitcher.
Yeah.
Wow. Stop the presses, man. So give us the numbers behind it.
So, Gonsolin, he was very impressive. I mean, he wasn't barely even given the Brewers a chance when they when they were trying to hit those pitches that he was throwing. So, I mean, I really like what I saw from Gonsolin. And Burns, the last game he pitched against them, he had 32 fantasy points.
Right.
That's the best he's ever done against the Dodgers.
Interesting.
So I don't think he's going to struggle. I don't think he's going to go out there and give up 6 runs or something in the first couple innings. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. But for his price, I mean, with what he's done against the Dodgers, there's no way I'm paying up for him that much. And Gonsolin's only like 2% projected ownership. So
no, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I know he's not a lefty, but I mean, heck, he looked almost unhittable at times against the Brewers. So
he did.
Yeah.
I love the call. And, I considered Gonsolin as my second SP2 and sort of, pay up sort of. I think 9.7 is too cheap for him on DraftKings, personally. I mean, I know I faded him and I called him go for ball Gonsolin when he gave up some home runs there around the All-Star break. But, man, he's won my respect back. He's pitched 4 great games in a row. He even put a 30-pointer up in course, 39 against San Diego, 36 against Kansas City. And like you said, that 55er against Milwaukee last week, 7 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. Now, the only thing with Gonsolin, he's not going to get you double-digit strikeouts. Probably 6 is really the fair number. But
he got 8 last time. I mean,
I know. And, he's won 4 in a row. And I just think he's a really solid play. The Brewers just aren't hitting, Crash. They're just not hitting.
Well, they got a little bit. They woke up a little bit at the end of that game last night. Was very proud of them for winning that game because I know
was a gutsy victory.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't see that coming. But and I think they are, maybe starting to turn around a little bit right now. But no matter what, I think it's going to be a low-scoring pitchers duel, just like it was last time. Another 2-1 type game wouldn't surprise me at all. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. But even in that situation, Burns didn't really do that great. And so he's just, for whatever reason, not done well against the Dodgers. So
yeah, I have not messed with Burns in quite some time. He's just not the same. I think he came off the DL a while back, or IL, whatever it's called now. And I don't think as sharp as he was prior, but maybe he's pitching a little dinged up. But anyway, Gonsolin on DraftKings at 9,700 and on only 45 on Yahoo. I think he's a great play there. Probably won't go to him at 10.5 on Fanduel, but again, he's not drawing any ownership. And I think he deserves to. And I mean, do you realize his season stats? Do you know what he's 15-1?
I know, 15-1. Yeah.
2.12 ERA, a 0.86 WHIP. Now, he doesn't get all the love in DFS as much because he's only got 113 strikeouts, which isn't phenomenal. You need the 150 strikeout guys anymore, it seems like. But I'll take 15-1, 2.12 ERA and an 0.86.
That's Cy Young all day right there. That's
Good God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, those are Cy Young kind of numbers right there. So I get it. I guess, is Big Bino a Brewers fan? Because he wants to get you back on the phone, Crash. He's going to second my nomination to have you thrown out of the Brewers fan.
Oh, no. Call it like I see it, man. I can't help it.
Now you got to be impartial. We
would have a different conversation if it wasn't for DFS. But
remember when I faded Luka and he dropped 56 on me?
Yep.
It
stings. No bias here.
All right, last game, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. Washington Nationals at Seattle Mariners. It's also a 10-10 game. And this is going to be an interesting one, too. 7.5 is the total in Vegas. It's 2.72 for the Nationals, very, very low. 4.78 for the Mariners. Eric Fetty, 5.8K. And a guy I think that's drawing a lot of ownership, Robbie Ray, at 9.9K. And that's a guy that, we have faded at different times and he stung us. And then we just picked spots. Is Ray on your radar today?
Not today.
No?
36.6% projected ownership on DraftKings.
Exactly.
25 on FanDuel. So
too high for me. Too high.
No way. I mean, the Washington lineup's not great, but I mean, you've still got Nelson Cruz is going to be a revenge game for him. So that's something I just thought of as we're looking at this matchup. Lane Thomas is good against lefties. Joey Meneses is, coming on strong. So
he's going to be a nice player for them long term.
Yeah, and then Luke Voigt. So I mean, they've got some guys that can hit lefties for sure. So
yeah, I mean, Ray is. I just am not going to play him because of the ownership. That's the thing that sways me. I mean, can he win the slate for somebody? I guess so. I mean, 272 is the lowest implied total, I believe, on the whole board. So, it makes sense. Yeah. Oh, no, it's not. Against Verlander, Minnesota's 2.58. So it's the second lowest. And I think he'll get a lot of ownership. A lot of people will have him definitely on that late slate. If I'm playing the after hours 4-gamer, he's probably going to make my lineup. But overall, from the ownership perspective, when you have 30 pitchers to choose from, I'm just not going to go there. So my guess, you're talking about leverage all the time is paid off because
rubbed off.
It's rubbed off. So I'm not going to utilize him. Anybody hit from the hitting side here? Are you looking at anybody that direction?
On the hitting side,
I
mean, I mentioned it. Maybe Nelson Cruz would be a good GPP play. Like I said, it's a revenge game.
Right.
I mean, I like Julio Rodriguez. He's one of my favorite players.
5.9K though.
Yeah, very expensive.
Yeah.
What's Cal Riley?
Raleigh, the catcher, 3.8.
Yeah,
3.8K.
Oh, his price has gone up for sure.
It has. He used to be dirt cheap, and he can pop one out on a
yeah.
So
so I don't know. Maybe a Suarez or a Haniger. I do like Haniger. I bet his price is up there too, though. So
it's 4K flat.
Okay, not bad at all.
That might be the spot to go.
Yeah, Mitch Haniger. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play. But I won't have a ton of exposure there in that game for sure. I mean, a couple Seattle guys maybe, but the expensive ones are just a little too high for me. But we will see. All right, let's check. Do we have anything, Coach? I'm on Baseball Savant. Don't look good for Rodon. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so Rodon's not looking good on Baseball Savant. Here's the thing with Rodon. Again, he had a little stretch there where he slumped, and it wasn't a bad slump though. Just his he gave up a few hits here and there, but he's been so solid as far as going deep into games. He's lasted at least 6 innings in 6 of his last 7, and I just like the strikeout upside here. He's got a lot of double-digit strikeouts throughout the year. And I think that his ownership is going to scare some people. And I think that it goes down as the day goes on. I think a lot of people are going to look at some of those numbers and pull away from them. But I really like him tonight. I do. So I'm with you. I respect that opinion. And I think that's going to be a differentiator for me. I still think he's a top 3 scorer on the slate. And I'm hoping he's the top scorer overall pitching wise on this slate tonight. So it's fun to be a little different here and there. I know one of the things I will say, and I listen to a lot of our competitors too, there's some great stuff out there, but it doesn't do any good to give you the chalk ownership plays and the highest, most expensive guys on every slate because, you can't use them all. So you got to find some spots where you're going to get a little bit different and give yourself a chance to take some stuff down. So, all right. So to review, why don't we do this, Crash, since we did it differently today? So everybody knows my pay-up pitcher is Rodon. Gonsolin's my other guy that I really like. Montas is my fade. Bogarts is my BVP. Trout's my home run call. And then I'll share stacks with you. I'm stacking. The stack I like is Coors. And I normally don't. But I like both sides of that, maybe 2 or 3 guys from each side, Texas and Colorado. And then I like the Yankees. I mentioned it earlier. I think they continue to break out. Not maybe the most expensive guy like in a Judge, but I think there's a lot of good plays in that lineup that are affordable for the Yankees. How about you?
My pay-up pitcher is Gonsolin. My value pitcher is Ranger Suarez. My fade pitcher is Corbin Burns. My stacks are the Astros and who else did I like? I don't even remember now.
Can't remember who your other stack was. It wasn't Coors.
Wish they weren't playing against a ground ball pitcher because I do like Kansas City, but I don't think I'm going to stack them. So I'll just say Houston, and okay. I'm going to find some one-offs to get different. So
excellent. All right,
let's more of a GPP, build for our members tonight anyway. So
perfect. Our top 2 PrizePicks plays of the day, and if you want to join PrizePicks when you sign up, make sure you use the promo code CoachTalk, all one word, no space. They'll match you dollar for dollar up to $100 on your first deposit. I'm going under 3.5 strikeouts, Taijuan Walker. I think the Yankees get him. I think he gets knocked out of there, and I'm going to be stacking a little bit against him. And I think that he doesn't get to the point where he gets himself 4 strikeouts. So Taijuan Walker under 3.5 is my one play. My second play, I've mentioned it again. I think he's going to go lower owned than he always does because he started off a little slower since coming off the injured list, and that's Mike Trapp. He's only 7.5 pitcher fantasy score against Tampa, so I'm going over Mike Trout as my second PrizePicks play of the day.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tony Gonsolin over 36.5. He had 55 last time against the Brewers in Milwaukee. And Salvador Perez, my home run call, I'm going to go over 1.5 total bases. I think he definitely gets over that.
Very nice. And then Boom Fantasy, for those that haven't heard of Boom Fantasy, you will be hearing a ton of them in about the next week and a half. We're partnering with them. They're going to be the newest and biggest and brightest thing in the whole prop plays and wagering side of things. We'll be announcing all of that here coming up shortly. But the Boom Fantasy 2 plays of the day, I'll give you my first one, and Crash already guessed it earlier. I'm going with the underdog Kansas City Royals on the money line. I have them at plus 108. Crash has them at plus 125. But regardless, I like the Royals as an underdog at home to beat the Diamondbacks straight up.
Well, we got the same one there because I like Kansas City as well. So
that's out of crazy. 30 teams, we could, and 60 selections when you think about the teams and the over-unders that you can take.
That's same hilarious. Guys. Yeah, the same play, I mean. And then I like the under on the implied run total of 7 for the Brewers and Dodgers. Like I said, I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel. And I'm projecting another 2-1, 3-1 type game. So
very nice. I'm all over the Yankees today. I think they get right. They're minus 131 against the Mets. I think they smack them. I may even throw something on the run line Yankees. You get a huge plus number. It's brutal it's brutal to give a run and a half at home because you don't get the 9th inning. So be very careful there. Nothing wrong with just taking the Yankees minus 131.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not a huge Montas guy, like I said, but I like Taijuan Walker less. So I don't really like either pitcher here. I think both sides hit. I like the Yankee stack. I like the Mets stack. I like the runs. You're going to see my lineup have mostly New York players and Coors guys, and then filtered in with some of those $2,000 guys to make it work. But I like the runs here, and I just think the Yankees are going to wake up and go after it.
I agree.
All right. I think that's everything. Anybody else, any other questions in chat? We've got a lot of people stuck with us throughout this whole thing. I guess, we're trying to figure out how we want to do this. We wanted to keep these pods under an hour. Well, that was an epic fail. So if we're going to go game by game like this, let us know what you think. Do you want us to go this game by game and filter everything in? Do we go back to the other ways? There's a lot of decisions we have to make here. And the only way that we'll make those decisions is feedback from all of you guys and gals, because we want to give you what you need and what you want. I I think this later time at 1:30 seems to be a big success. We've had a lot of people in here the whole time.
Yeah.
And, so I think that it's, let us know what you think, because we don't want to make them too long, but we want to give you all the info. So we'll filter in and get better at bringing into the stack percentages and pitching percentages and ownership. All of that kind of stuff is going to mean a lot to us, and we'll tighten it up here. I guess if we try to make these an hour, there's nothing wrong with that, Crash. But, it's a huge slate. When you got a giant slate, you got to sort of roll with it.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at all these comments.
Yeah.
Your mom really enjoyed the show today.
All right. That's because you're on. She says, where's the handsome guy? And she wasn't talking about me, Crash. So, Coach Mom.
Let me turn the volume down on my computer so my wife no, she's not actually here right now. So.
Big Bino says percentages, likes this better. I mean, that's the initial feedback we've been getting is let's filter in these numbers. And that's the direction we're going here. We're partnering with some statistical companies, really trying to get a lot more information on the leverage, the ownership, and everything else. So, hey, we're going to give you what you need to take some stuff down, and we're going to be right alongside you. And definitely join us, dfscoachtalk.com. We would love to have you as part of the family. So, all right, hand build, let's see it. All right, Zachary, how are you, man? And we will do from time to time on the weekends, we'll do a 2 brains are better than one lineup on Fanduel where we'll pick it right here on the show. But today we'll get it rolling. We're at an hour and 26 minutes, so we know everybody's time is valuable. We're extremely happy that you spent this time with us, and we'll definitely be back again tomorrow. So any final words, Crash?
No, I think we've hit it well today. We've covered everything, every game, every angle that I can think of. So it's probably our most thorough. Yeah, it was longer, but probably our most thorough podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and definitely join in again tomorrow. And we'll be back when we look to crush it in MLB, DFS, PrizePicks, and Boom Fantasy.